So in this video lesson, we're going to be looking at growing patterns. And just like this little baby grows and grows and grows and gets taller and bigger, so do growing patterns. The trick is though, you've got to work out how much it is growing by. Pretty exciting stuff. Okay, let's get into it. So I'm going to create some growing patterns. Let's look at my first little dot. So here it is, down here. Now this little dot is all by itself. There's one little dot there. Now let's look at the next stack. Here it is. This stack has two dots on it. Now what's the difference between this dot and this stack of dots? Did you notice that there is one more? That's right. This here. I have added one more dot to make a stack of two. Okay, so let's look at this next stack here. Let's compare it to the stack before. So this stack, there are two dots, and in this stack, there are three dots. What's going on there? What have I done this time? Did you notice that I just added one more dot? Here, I have two dots. Now I have three, and that's one more than what I had here. So there seems to be a little bit of a pattern happening. Each time so far, I am adding one more dot to the previous stack's total pile. So what would be happening next? Okay, I have to start with 3. 1, 2, 3, because that's how many I had in the previous stack's pile. This stack here, there's 3 there. Now remember, each time I seem to be adding one more to the pile. So let me add one more. Okay, that means I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you see that? Here I had 3, so I made my pile of 3, and then I added one more because that seems to be my rule. So how many would be in the next stack? Well, remember here I have 4. So let me get my 4 over there ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, there's my pile of 4. Now what was my rule? What am I doing every time? That's right, I'm adding one more each time. So I'm going to add one more to my stack. So how much does that make altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, 5 is one more than 4. I hope you're starting to understand it a bit. Can you see this pattern is growing? It is getting bigger. Okay, let's try another one. Let's look at this growing pattern. So, I've started off with one dot. Now let's compare this next stack of dots. So here is 1, and how many dots do I have here? 1, 2, 3. So I've gone from 1 dot to 3 dots. And you can see that I have added 1, 2 more dots, which makes a total of 3. Okay, so that time I added 2 dots. Let's look at this next stack. So this stack has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now remember, this stack here has a total of 3. And previously I had added 2 more to my first stack to make 3. So I've started off with 3 here. 1, 2, 3. Now remember what I did over this way. I added 2 more. So that's what I've done to this stack. I've added 2 more. And that has given me a total of 5. What am I doing each time? Those blue dots help a little bit. Each time I seem to be adding 2 more to each pile. Here was 1, remember? Then I added 2 more to my 1 to make 3. And to my 3 I added another 2 to make 5. Okay, let's see what would happen next. So I am going to start with 5 because that's how many was in my previous pile of dots. 4, 5. Okay, now remember how many I was adding each time? I was adding 2. 2, 2. Okay, so I'm going to add 2. 1, 2. So how many do I have in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the rule that is happening in this growing pattern is that each time I am adding 2 more dots to the previous total. Another way of saying that is that my pile or my stack of dots is growing by 2 each time. Okay, so in this one I'm starting with a different amount of stars. I am starting with 2. Okay, now let's look at my next stack. How many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now remember my previous stack had 2. So this is what my previous stack looked like. Then I've added 1 star and another star. I have added 2 more stars. I'll put a 2 here to remind us. Now, let's look at the next pile. I now have in this pile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just wait, 1's hiding. 6. That's better, isn't it? Now, in this pile here, I had 4. In this pile here, I have 6. Do you remember how many I was adding each time? Did you say 2? That's right. I added 2 more stars. My previous total was 4, just like this one here. This is my previous total, 4, and I've matched that. And now I'm adding 2 more stars. 1, 2, to make 6. Can you see the pattern that's happening here? Each time I am adding 2. Okay, so here I have 6 stars. So I've got to create my next pile, or my next stack. So I start off with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what am I doing each time? This is my little reminder. I'm adding 2 stars each time. So let's do it. Let's add 2 stars. So I have 6, 7, 8. I have added 2 more stars to make 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bit of a pattern happening there. Let me write down the total of each stack. Okay, so I started with 2, then I have 4, then I had 6, and now I have 8. Wow, looks like I'm counting in 2s. The rule is I am adding 2 stars each time. Another way of saying that is that my pattern or my pile is growing by 2 each time. Here's a song about growing patterns. Now let's see if you can remember. So they're growing on up, they're growing on up, growing on up. Nothing can stop them growing on up. They're growing on up, growing on up. Nothing can stop them. Now do you remember how much they grow by? You have to look and compare. Remember growing patterns? They keep on growing. How much do they grow by? You have to stare. And they're growing on up. They're growing on up. Growing on up. How much are they growing by? Growing on up. Growing on up. Growing on up. How much are they growing by? Awesome work. I hope your brain has been growing and growing and growing and growing and growing as you learn all about growing patterns. Keep on working hard.